Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of FoolCraft, and I do hope that you're looking forward to some foolish activities because we may be putting ourselves in harm's way in this episode. I've got to do something potentially hazardous. Oh yes I do, and before we get to that, I've got some things to show you. So we built this farm in the last episode, right? And I come down here and something interesting has happened. Look at this, the output is full and all of this has been filled up. Now I don't know if another one of the fools from our team has come over here and filled up this grid, but it seems that it has planted down loads of these ones. So either someone else came over here and did it, but I reckon what actually happened is that this eventually started to fill up with seeds. Now pay attention to how many that there are there. Underneath a stack, yet we've got stacks of diamond essence. I reckon it started planting down some of the diamond ones, which gave it more seeds in return, and then that became the dominant thing here. Now, if I had to pick one of them to become dominant, it'd be the diamonds one, because I like diamonds. I don't know about you, but they're pretty cool, and now we're getting loads of them. So check this out. If I press U for uses, that's it. We can make diamonds, loads of them with this stuff, which is pretty cool. And you'll also see this stuff right here. So I've had a ton of feedback from all of you with the comments. Thank you as always for helping me out. Do appreciate it. We've got two things over here, fertilizer essence and mystical fertilizer. So this one can be used to make this stuff, and we can craft it with diamonds, which we are now farming. And actually, apparently, the bone meal that I was using in that episode that was up here and that I was putting on the crops, it don't do nothing. It just steals it from you. But this stuff that we got right here, we can use that to create some bone meal. So maybe we'll be able to create a little bit of a feedback loop with our diamonds so we can make the stuff grow faster. Now, if I come over here, this thing has been running for a while, as evidence of. Up here we got this chest and it is loaded full of stuff, which is fantastic. So it's a great sign that this works, right? We've got some Certus quartz seed up here as well and some diamond seeds. Now that I find particularly interesting. I think I saw some lapis ones in there. It could be that this can't hold any more than 16, but the fact that some of the lapis seeds went up there is probably a good sign that it's able to move the seeds out of there. So I don't think this is going to get backed up with seeds in that slot, which is just fantastic. Here's another thing. Our hoe is running out. We don't actually need to have the axe in here. It's just for the activity that you're doing. And many of you have informed me that, in fact, these hoes can be made of the infinite. And somewhere in here, there is one of those hoes. If I hover over it, it will say durability unlimited, which means it's kind of indestructible. To make that, we need 2 sticks. We need a supremium ingot, which I've already crafted. And then we need one of these cores right here. In fact, we need this one, and that requires wither skeleton skulls and a nether star. So we need to come up with a way to kill some wither skeletons, right? And I've got a fantastic idea. It involves putting some vanilla Minecraft spawners in the nether. Now that's what I'm talking about. Do you remember a couple of episodes ago, me, Beef and False, we came exploring this roguelike dungeon? Well, we've lit it up and we've left behind a few fellas like this. Meet Choppy McChopface, my friend. See ya. And we've also left behind some skeleton spawners. Now, I was going to pick up 8 of these in total, but then I remembered we've also got the Enderman and the Creeper spawner in this area as well, which is pretty cool. So now you can see I've been given some negative effects over here. Not very good. Luckily for me, I brought my backpack with me. That's my building backpack. This is me tools backpack. And there we go. We've no longer got those bad effects, which is kind of cheaty. And another one of you have spawned, haven't you? What were you doing spawning out of this wall? I guess it's not lit up enough. In fact, you probably came from that spawner. Anyway, let's roam around here and pick up a few more of those skeleton spawners. So I remember that the creeper spawner had a trap, and I think that Enderman has a ridiculous hat on. Do you have a ridiculous hat? There is a block above you. Let's remove it. You do. Well, it's not that ridiculous. It's a fellow who's also got a hat on top of him. A cake hat. Yeah, this thing is supposed to be rigged. Check it out. Creeper spawner, now it's ours. Okay, I reckon maybe if we open the chest, something in here is supposed to set it off. There you go, that's a trap chest. There you go, explosions, badness. Oh, goodness me, there's lava here as well. Wow, that was quite a big explosion. I'm glad I'm wearing some armour. And now we've got silverfish to deal with. That's just great, isn't it? So I've spent some time thinking about what is the quickest and dirtiest way we can do this. What is the fastest way to the end result? So I've come here to the Nether where we're going to lay down these skeleton spawners, and if this is like vanilla, they will actually spawn wither skeletons as well. So I've dug out this hole. I think it's actually going to reduce the overall spawning rate a tiny bit just because of the size of it. Now apparently I can't actually, well, that's placed in the wrong place. Let's get it in the right place. There we go. I can actually reach it. I'm seeing, oh no, these aren't vanilla spawners, are they? Okay, so these are actually... what does it say? I think the deal is that they're going to spawn the type that you find in roguelike dungeons, which means that you're not going to get any wither skeletons down here. But otherwise, this is pretty cool, right? Look at this. Choppy McChopface doing the work. We're going to create a ton of items here very quickly. This is not actually what we want, though, because there's no wither skeletons here. So we need to find an actual vanilla one, like from a dungeon, because these ones are just set to spawn the roguelike ones, which have armor and all sorts of other things going on. So we're working with mystical agriculture here, and I suspect some people have already commented saying, you can do this thing that I'm about to tell you about. Okay, so we need a bunch of wither skeleton skulls. The reason we need that is to craft the supremium core, which is just over here, and above it you may notice there is the wither skeleton chunk. So 2 of these, and 1 of those, which I believe we're getting from our loot bags, we should go and check that actually, will get us... 1 of those mob chunks, and 4 of those means we can craft wither skeleton seeds. Now those seeds will grow wither essence, which you can use to craft wither skeleton skulls, and that would be probably now a much faster way of getting those skulls, right? Because otherwise I've got to explore the world for ages looking for a regular spawner. So we need to pop over here and see if we have... That's the wrong place, it's this one here, isn't it? Yes, and look at that, we're getting the tier 5 mob chunks from the loot tables. Okay then, looks like we're making ourselves some wither seeds, peeps. Alrighty then, I've crafted this thing up. We're going to plant it down over on this side, which has been set up. I'm hoping it's ready to go, and I've obviously missed a step here, haven't I? I haven't hoed the ground. I had 2 of those supremium hoes originally. I cannot remember where the other one went, so I've just thrown a diamond one in there for now. And we plant that thing down and it will start growing. Now we're going to use the fertile essence on this. This can be used to craft into like this mystical fertilizer. Instantly grows a crop. I think that means the whole way, right? Because you can actually use this on it as well. And 2 uses of that gave us a whole crop, which is pretty cool. Aha! And it's planted another one down. So when it got that back, it got a seed as well. Let's grow this thing again. That one required 4. I'm going to guess probably this time it doesn't get a seed. Yeah, so we got lucky first time. Okay, that's interesting. So I reckon the seeds go into... Actually, no, I figured this one out already, actually. Seeds will go into this inventory slot and get sucked up top. You can see the silicon there. And this will hold 16 of each different type. So if this nether backs up, they won't actually go into this space over here. Is my theory, which is a good thing, I think. Anyway, I'm going to use up this fertilized essence over here now, so we can get plenty of essence from this farm and make ourselves wither skeleton skulls. So I've made some wither skulls with the essence, headed all the way over here, and realised this is a little bit pointless because we need to craft the supremium core thing, right? That we're going to make the hoe with is somewhere in here. Thing is, I've got to do that 4 times over. And then also I want to get some wither stars for making growth crystals. So I probably should have waited until I had more of these. And where did you go? You've gone above me. That's actually the worst thing. Because you can get away from me there. As I've got to kill this guy with Choppy, of course. Oh, and by the way, there's another wither around here. It's me. Except you can't see the wither face there. There we go. That's much better. This nether star can also be used to make a supremium fertilization core. That sounds pretty awesome, and it's used to make this supremium watering can. We absolutely have to investigate that and find out what that thing can do for us. So we got our supremium hoe now, which I've kind of realized is probably not the biggest of priorities, right? You know, I could have taken care of that later. Oh, please don't tell me... Oh, it does go in there, right. So the first time I clicked, for some reason it didn't want to try. But I just noticed something in my hotbar. Check it out, a Doc M 77 loot bag. Let's open it together here. Oh, the Pinkinator and the Vloginator. I don't think either of those are going to be useful for us, unfortunately. So I think the next logical step would be to sort out where the items are going to go. Because at the moment they just go into a chest. And I've come back over here to where our actual storage system is and decided to build something over here. Now, False added this elevator block down the bottom that goes down to some caves, and I actually thought it would be a good idea to use this to get down to an additional room, which I haven't decorated. That's something we'll do in the future. But you can see that I've set up some storage drawers over here, and we've got one of our applied energistics cables coming down. Now what we're going to do is, like we've done with refined storage in previous series, is hook up this drawer system using this ME storage bus so it can become part of the interface we use up the top. I haven't done this before, so it's kind of like interesting to see if this will work or not, but in theory everything's good. So we've got our drawer controller. This will interact with all of these drawers right here. You can see that we're storing the 5 different types of essence and the mob chunks that come with it as well. And because we've done that, we can now actually see more of the stuff from the loot crates that come into this. We get Solium daggers and Supremium furnaces as well. That's kind of interesting. We'll get more of that stuff as time goes by. I'm going to do some more AFKing over at our farm. For now, though, what we're going to do is set that to always active. So the Ender IO conduit is going to take the items out of the Ender chest, which are moved from the big storage system for the loot bags, and put them into there. Pretty cool. So, next step. ME storage bus. Going to slap you there. Add the cable. Ooh. I did not expect to see an interface for this, but okay, let's shift click. Aha, it's connected. Let's click on that interface again. Partition! Input output bidirectional. Yeah, there might be a lot more to that, but in theory, now we should be able to see all the essence up above. So I removed any essence related thing out of that storage system and put it into the drawers down below. Let's give it a whirl. Oh, I can see it straight away. So awesome! We now know how to hook up other storage systems to this one, so things are visible from here. That is terrific. I've got another one in my inventory, as you can see. And by the way, crafting recipe, not too much of a bother. Everything in here was pretty easy to do. All stuff we've done before, in case you're following along and you want to know how it's done. So you can see that I've sort of laid out some sort of parallel system over here. That's because on the opposite side we've got another drawer controller. We're going to set up another ender chest, and this one is going to be for all the essence that we're farming. So I've run a cable over the top here, and it's kind of like the same deal over on this side, right? Except what I've gone and done is added another ender chest, and I've put 4 of these above the farms over in the Mystical Agriculture farm. And by the way, one of the videos I did a while back, I got a ton of comments about putting a diamond thing on the front of an ender chest. I actually always do that, and sometimes when you do it, the server kind of goes into a little bit of a hiccup and it forgets that you've got the diamond there. So that was when we made the one on the other side over here, and as you can see, it's got a diamond on it. I haven't done anything, it just eventually realized that it had been given a diamond already. So I know how to lock the ender chests, and we've done that already here. So now what we've got to do is pick out the essences that we want to put into the drawers around the front. And I've also got a quantify key as well. So we're going to put these in here and lock them before we attach anything else. And I think I've got more than I need overall. So where's that quantify key? There it is, and we can see the numbers down here as well, which is pretty cool. And again, the loot bags, what an amazing way to start on this server, because we have now gotten all these upgrades from them, so we can increase the storage. And I've just noticed that this one here is actually full. If we look around the back here, you can see some down the bottom there, so it's certainly a good idea to add that in. I'm so glad that I remembered this, because it's typical of me to forget little things as I'm doing them. Earlier I thought, you know what we need to do? We need to make these drawers that have 4 for every one, right? Because we're going to end up with around, was it 94 of these in total? And imagine 94 drawers is going to take up a very large space. So to compact things, we can put 4 in each one, and that's going to sort out all of the essence. So again, very glad that I remembered that. Let's make sure we put some upgrades in, as these are going to have a significantly reduced amount of space for each different type. And I'm not too worried about that at the moment. Later on it might become a little bit of a problem, and we might start auto-crafting things. But the reason that I didn't want to do that is because some stuff like the wither essence, for example, can be crafted into multiple different things. So I didn't want to automate any crafting, as it has several uses, right? So this is going to leave us with a bunch of different items left behind here. You can see we've got seeds from the different types of crops that we're growing, and we got the fertilized essence. Now I don't know if I want to automate this going back into the system itself to help grow crops, or if I want to hold on to it. Probably best to hold on to it for now. But these seeds down here, they're eventually going to fill up this chest, because we're not going to create a place for them in this bit over here. What we can do with the seeds, though, is actually put them through a repossessor, and that will give us some essence back. And what's cool about this is that this thing will only accept seeds going in. So that means we should be able to hook it up to an Ender IO conduit over here, and it will repossess the seeds, put the essence back into here, and that means it will go into storage. So that should be pretty straightforward. The thing with the seed repossessor, though, is that we've got to craft it first of all, and that requires a fair few things. Solium ingot blocks, which, look at this little crafting tunnel right here. Solium dust that you make out of these 2 things. You need soul dust made from that, you've got to put in the smelter. Goodness me, there's some crafting for me to do now, I tell ya. So when we decorate this room, I think I'd like for us to have a panel on one side where we see the seed repossessors in action. At the moment we probably only need one, but as we increase the speed of the farm over there, we're going to spit out more and more seeds and need more and more of these. Now one thing you could do is you could just void them, but these don't require power, so I kind of like that they'll sit here and passively increase the amount that we get, which I think is pretty cool. Now what we're going to do with this Ender IO conduit network is set it to insert and extract, and put it on green for both of them, which is actually kind of the default. Now what it should be doing is taking out seeds, although it's going to need a place to send it to first, right? And again, let's put that one on always active. So possibly, I think there were two of those there. No, it looks like this didn't work. So there's some good news and bad news. The good news is I've remembered that this works like a vanilla furnace. So you have your input at the top and your output at the bottom. The bad news is it's accepting essence. I didn't think it did this. I thought it would only accept seeds, which would have meant that we would extract from here, and the only thing that could go in was seeds, so we wouldn't need to set up a filter. It would just pull out seeds, and then same dealio at the bottom. It would extract, but it wouldn't take from this slot here, so we'd be fine. We'd get essence going back into this ender chest and sorted over on this side. So this is really bad news because of filters, right? If we want to filter and say this item can't go in here, or we're only going to accept a certain type of seeds, and now it's actually repossessing some seeds, which is nice for a change. Well, this isn't a desirable solution. It'd be really nice if we could make a filter that used words, so you could just say seeds can go through, and then we would be sorted. But we're using this type of filter which works with the transfer node. You can have 16 different items in here, right? I've also heard that you can put a filter inside of a filter, although that was a long time ago. If that's still true, then obviously we can fill the filter with filters and we'll have enough for our 94 different types of seeds that are going to come through here in the long run. For now though, this one will do just fine. So we're going to attach that there, and because it hasn't had a filter, it's gone and moved through the essence and stuff, which I guess I need to take out of here. Let's put in the seeds, pull out the essence, there we go, and set this thing to always active. So now it should be pumping items into each of these. That one's got essence in it for some reason. There go the seeds. That one as well. In go the seeds. Excellent. And we don't want that stuff in there. So it'll get extracted at the bottom, come back into this thing, and that means that everything's going to get sorted. So in here, if we type in essence, you can see I've hooked it all up and it's all part of the system, which is just fantastic. Got a couple of tiny more things to do. Need to go back over there, throw down a chunk loader, which means that farm can run when we're offline. And I've also got some conduit facades here to make the ceiling look nice and clean. But we're done with that for now, I think. I want to move on to doing the paths between the different areas. I've been waiting a while to do this. We're going to use some chisel and bits, and I think now would be a good time to get started on this. So I would like to introduce you to my rubbish pickaxe over here, which actually has silk touch. I made this during a live stream and it had like literally I think 10 durability, which is kinda pants. So I've added a diamond, and yes, I know that we could be using a shovel on this. We're just doing it like that. We need this block to be chiseled because it's a grass block, but when you place it in this biome, it turns to this color grass, right, which is pretty cool. But that can be chiseled and this type can't. In fact, I should really show you this. If we go and select the cube, you can see the outline there, right? But you won't see it on this type of block because that can't be chiseled. So that's the way we're going to get that texture down for these paths. And also, if I want to regrow this stuff, I've got this watering can, which is kind of handy. And that is why we had this little patch of grass over here. This is my grass farm because we're going to need those blocks to make these paths. Now I'm hoping this will also be helpful over here, as I'm going to be doing a little bit of landscaping again, getting rid of all of this that's in the way, and then we need that to grow back. Yeah, it's gonna do it, right? It's not as fast as the vanilla stuff by the looks of it. In fact, it might not actually be affecting it at all. Well, let's hope that it is. 2 pieces of grass have grown. That could have just been the natural order of things. I've also got some string in my inventory. So when we're walking from this place to the next, the obvious problem is one that's going to come back over and over again. This stuff goes down way too fast. So we're going to use strings here just to kind of limit their growth in places. We'll let some come down a little bit lower than others. You know, get some variety going on there, but that'll sort that out. So I've cleared out the space between our second and third projects. So we're going to have a path here. Probably not going to build it all in one go, just experimenting with this idea to begin with. What we've got over here are some blocks that we can chisel that have this kind of like tile layout, and they're going to be little squares that we're going to use as bricks that's going to be mixed in and amongst this grass, which is why we needed this. So we're going to snap this to quarter size cube and pinch a few of those. And that's how we get the grass in there. Then, as you can see, each one of these shapes is kind of aligned to the grid. These ones, though, are a little bit bigger. So when we use this one, we're going to be putting them in a group of 4. And that is the third one along on my hotbar. Let's grab some of those as well. So let's start off with that one and make sure it's in the right part of the grid. So that makes one big tile. And then next to it, you know, we've got a bit of grass. And that can be mixed with some of these as well. Right, that's what I'm thinking. And eventually we could end up with a nice little mesh. So a mesh of different sized tiles, which are bricks and grass, in and amongst it, I think could end up looking pretty cool here. And I think I might actually just leave this elevated on top of this, as that's going to be a lot easier to build. Okay. Thrown down a few of these. As you can see, I've gone round another bigger ones first of all, so I can make sure they fit into a grid. And as I'm just starting to throw this down, I'm really feeling like this is actually way better than I expected, which is just terrific because I already thought this was a pretty cool idea, and seeing it, oh, if I could talk properly, seeing it in action right now, this is actually looking really awesome. Like they do look like little bricks, don't they? Just thrown in there amongst the grass. Oh, this is going to look great on a big scale. And I am thinking, though, maybe we could throw in 1 or 2 more textures, but I think they need to be a different colour. I think this one's actually going to be kind of awkward to work with, because you've got to memorise where you are on the block. If you're in this corner, it's a 2 by 2. If you're over here, they're 2 together, so I don't think that's the one to go with. There might actually be some more chisel textures of the same prismarine here, but then they're going to end up being the same colour, aren't they? So I started to think that maybe another colour would go well in there, and if you search for small tiles, you get small tiles and the small discorded tiles. It'd be nice if that went in there, but you can see all the different colours, and I wasn't really sure about throwing anything in too different. This one right here I feel is a little bit too much of a strongly saturated texture, and then there was the mossy cobblestone, so I've thrown that in over here as well. And I think the problem is it's quite noisy. Like there's a lot going on there, and I feel like once the path is finished, when you walk through it, it's probably not a big deal, but it's different from everything else around you, right? All of a sudden there's loads of detail here. So maybe we should reduce the amount of bricks that are here, or maybe even remove the darker ones and just keep it with the basic ones here. I'm not sure. I feel like, yeah, there's things that we can try, and we'll do more experiments as we go along. What I want to experiment with right now is chiseling marble, because I thought it'd be cool to have like a border on this thing, and I was originally thinking of something dark, and then I remembered that marble could be chiseled as well. Now everything we've built so far is out of the asterial? Let's look at it and say it. And you're a conduit facade. Astral sorcery. So these are not the same. If I actually plop this down in front of it, you can see it's kind of a little bit different. We're going to take all of that though and use this as the border over here, because the marble might actually help tie things together, even though it's quite a contrast. And one thing you might notice I've done is I've tried to put more blocks over the edges. That was a conscious decision there, just so it kind of shows the edge of the path, as there should be more grass in the middle where people walk. So we can do it like that, where we have like a diagonal space free, which kind of looks alright, or we can put those in there. I actually think that looks a lot better. Yeah, that definitely looks better. The question is, does the marble here work or not? I think you could probably get away with that, but it doesn't fill its way all the way into these blocks back here. So what do you do in that space? Maybe, oh, that's the wrong texture. Where's my grass at? I don't have any grass down here. Maybe we can get away with that. And this actually shows you a problem that we have here with this block, is that you don't get the grass coming down the side. So when you see the side of it, yeah, it's obviously dirt, and that's going to stick out. So when we get to the bits where you start to go downwards over the blocks, that's going to be a problem, meaning that we've got to rely on these blocks instead of the side of this. So it looks great on that side. I think it looks good there as well. But from over here, not sure if you get away with that or not. Do you know, I'm looking for some feedback. If you've got any ideas, leave a comment down below, because we're going to figure this out eventually, and it's going to look good. When it's level like this, it doesn't really work. But over here there's a problem. You see, this is going to come to an end at some point where this block isn't shielding it anymore. So what do we do at that point? Because this could continue like that. And do we do something like that, which kind of looks a little bit odd, but I think you can get away with it. And then it means we're back to doing it like we're doing over there. So from that side, not so great, but from this side, okay. And maybe what you also need is some little bits like that. Actually, that's really cool. Get out of my way, sapling. Oh, these stairs here, by the way, I was thinking of starting the path in this place, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to expand this start area. You see, it's starting to get a little bit clustered with other things popping up, chests and the like, and so I thought maybe this thing needs to be bigger as it's our central hub, so we could mirror what we've built in this space over in that space there and move some things around, and then our path could start here. So let me know what you think of that with a comment down below. That's going to be it from me this episode, though. I've just finished tidying up my inventory. We are done for today. I can't wait to hear what you think of the path. And if you've enjoyed the video, leave a like. As always, thank you for your support. And I will see you in the next episode of FoolCraft. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.